Very good afternoon to all of you. Respected expert Dr. Swagatam Das, respected head of the department Dr. Malik Madam, respected guide Dr. Manali Shirsagar Madam, respected R&D Dean Dr. Uday Wankade sir, and my colleague. Today I am giving my PhD pre-submission seminar on development of an intelligent approach for intrusion detection in ad hoc wireless network. My supervisor Dr. Manali Shirsagar, Principal, SDMT Nagpur, and my research center is GH Raisoni College of Engineering, Nagpur. These are the contents that I am going to cover. Introduction, the background and the related work, that is the literature survey, the problem statement, objectives of my research work, and the intrusion detection in MANET cluster formation algorithm, the algorithm for intrusion detection, implementation along with the result, comparison with all three cases, conclusion, and lastly we are going to see the future life scope, and the final we have the references. So before going for the intrusion, I would like to give the basic concept about the intrusion detection. What basically the intrusion is, it is defined as a sequence of related action performed by the malicious node that result in the integrity, that is going to compromise with the integrity, confidentiality of a targeted system. And the intrusion detection, it is process of identifying and detecting that particular malicious node that has already been given, that has already been suffered by the intrusion. It is again categorized into two parts. First one is the internal intrusion, and second another is the external intrusion. Internal intrusion attempts are more damaging in nature since malicious nodes are already a part of that network, whereas external intrusion creates the jamming problem. It again propagates the incorrect routing information to the nodes and prevents the services from working the particular network. Generally speaking, intrusion detection system is not any antivirus program. I would like to clear this thing. It is not any network logging system. Again, it is not any vulnerability assessment tool that checks for bugs and flaws in any operating system. So diagrammatically representation tells us the misbehavior of particular node is going to categorize into two parts. Mainly the mount attacks, and the second one is the selfish attack. The mount attacks are again categorized into different. There are two forwarding misbehavior, and the second another one is the routing misbehavior. The packet dropping, modification in the path, then fabrication of the path, the timing characteristic all comes under the category of the forwarding misbehavior, whereas actually delivery and it has been handled by the network comes under the routing misbehavior, whereas the another part of the same category is the selfish node. What are the current status and the challenges that have already faced by being as a research student? Ad hoc networks uses peer-to-peer communication process. As all the nodes in the ad hoc wireless network or other MANET acts as a host as well as router. The limited computational resources available are the battery problem, limited power, not dedicated routers. Then there is a problem of the topology and no fixed infrastructure. And the next one is the non-occurrence of infrastructure and resultant absence of authorization facilities. It is very difficult to find out which one is the trusted node and which one is the non-trusted node. Along with this, the challenges in the MANET, freely wandering of nodes, and nodes may join or leave the network at any time without giving any prior notice to the network administrator or to the cluster head. In such challenging and hostile environment, the path between the nodes may be broken and there is no assurance of the path, that particular path is free from the malicious node. The false negatives and the false positives are the major challenge in the ad hoc wireless network, and there is no concrete reason for dropping the packet. Sometimes dropping the packets may be due to the congestion problem or any other issues. Along with this, the major issues that I would like to highlight is the hidden terminal problem and the exposed terminal problem. Hidden terminal problem tells us here three nodes are there, A, B, C. Here A and C wants to send packets to D, whereas C is not in the radio range of A, and then there is a collision at point or at node D. This is the hidden terminal problem. Along with this, we have the exposed terminal issue also. The intrusion detection in MANET, broadly it is categorized into two parts. First one is the intrusion prevention and another is the intrusion detection. This category tells us, means we can prevent a system so that the system should not enter into the problem, and the second one, once it enter into the problem of malicious node, later on we can detect it using some different algorithm. The alternative or the most algorithm we have is the watchdog and the path rater. But these are the issues with the watchdog and the path rater. The first issue is the ambiguous conflict. The ambiguous conflict tells us, see this using this example I am going to explain. So here 5 nodes are there. Out of 5 nodes, S don't know whether the packet that has been sent by X has been received by Y or not, because means the S has already sent one packet to X, whereas there is so many packets that are coming to node X also. Then the receiver collision again, here node X don't know whether the node Z has received the packet. Then the third one is a limited transmission power, is again one issue with this technology, that is a watchdog and the path rater. False misbehavior, sometimes the node intentionally creates the false misbehavior report of the node, and finally there is a problem of the partial dropping. Then the question may arise whether if we have the firewall, can we go for the intrusion detection? Means if we compare these two technology, both are different in terms of use. If we compare this, what we can say, the firewall simply provides your network from the outsider, clear? Whereas the attack, mostly the attack occurs in the network. So the diagrammatical representation tells us that whereas the network and the application layer attacks like denial of service or distributed denial of service cannot be managed or handled by firewalls. And hence the second layer of protection, that is the intrusion detection, and that's why we are going for. Along with, though it is very good technology as compared to firewall, again there are different issues with this intrusion detection system. The issue is the fidelity problem. What is the fidelity problem? The result can be misinterpreted or show the missed events, as I have already told you in case of the watchdog problem. The second issue with this intrusion detection system is over limit resources utilization. Intrusion detection has to continuously run in the system to monitor the behavior of the nodes, though there is no problem of the malicious node. And the third problem or issue with this intrusion detection system is the reliability problem. There are chances when intrusion detection itself is going to compromise, or the node is going to compromise and susceptible to tampering. An intruder may modify the audit data or disable it completely. Now, what are the different approaches to the intrusion detection system? The first one is the anomaly detection system, the second one is the specification based, and the third one is the misuse detection system. Out of these three categories, the anomaly detection tells us in this case the particular behavior is going to find out whether the particular node is behaving abnormally or not. The second one is it is purely based on the specification. There are some specification of the problem or the protocol. Based on the specification of the problem of the protocol, one has to find out whether it is malicious node or not. And the last one is a misuse detection. All the past history of the nodes are stored in the database, and let us consider a particular attack has occurred, then find out or compare that attack with the past history which is already been stored in the database. If it is so, then we can declare this one is a malicious node. So these are the security issues at the various OSI layer or TCP layer, and at all layer, though these are the security issues at this layer and it is going to protect it, still there is an intrusion problem or still there is a malicious problem at all this layer. And the attacks in the ad hoc wireless network are again categorized into two parts, internal attack and the external attack. The different types of attacks means so many attacks we have in the networking. Few I have already misquoted. The black hole attack, its aim is to show the shortest path. The grey hole, it's means intentionally select some packets and selected packets have been dropped. The DOS main intention is to disturb the entire network profile. The wormhole attack, it is very dangerous. Two malicious nodes are going to create one entire, what we can say, path. And the final means next one is the replay attack. Again, it listens to the conversation or the communication between node, and that later on it is going to use the same communication. The location disclosure, it discloses the information of node's location. Partitioning attack, it entirely divides the network into different parts. Resource consumption, and finally the sinkhole attack. Now, this was about the basic terminology about the intrusion detection. Now again the issues in the MANET or in ad hoc wireless network mainly is the node mobility and the cluster formation algorithm that we are going to see later on. The first issue is the root request dropping. In AODP, each node has to forward the packet to other node. Sometimes accepting or forwarding the packet depends entirely on the threshold value, or it depends entirely on the energy value. Again, energy is the main issue in the MANET that we are going to see later on. When its threshold is less than some theta value, or it is means energy is less than the threshold value, it is ultimately going to drop that packet. The second issue at the localized level for dropping packet here, the X is a malicious node. X is going to show to source as that I am having the best path. You can send or you can transfer your packet to me, and I am going to forward this to the destination. Again, for the next issue is for maintaining the stable neighborhood topology. Two nodes are called neighbor nodes if they communicate with each other with the help of any routing or the network topology. Consider these two nodes. Here I have given example. We assume the distance between the two nodes is this one, and if they are not in the radio range, or they are not in the communication range, then there may be a problem of packet dropping. So next one is the literature survey. All these are the literature survey of the paper I have gone through, and the research gaps or the finding based on the literature survey tells us the communication of cluster head with all other cluster head which are in the radio range is not given till in the literature survey, because ultimately I want to send a MAC address to all the cluster head, so that when the particular attacker or the attack enter into the network, the cluster head has to verify it. The second research gap or the finding based on the literature survey is providing the MAC address of malicious node to all the cluster head. There is no concrete policy for cluster head selection. Malicious node detection procedure and especially the threshold bounds are not given. After malicious, let us consider I have detected particular node as a malicious node or any attacker, then next what? Is there any punishment system to the malicious node, or is there any other system or removing of that particular attack or node from the entire network? Majority of the authors rely on the local detection based system. And all the nodes is having GPS inbuilt, and that is again the cost effective. Cost means it requires major cost. Majority of the authors have not used the false positive and false negative as a matrix. Optimum path and number of paths available for packet delivery, again it is not given. Intrusion detection test on selective forwarding packets, flooding attacks, sequence number attack, and packet dropping attacks. So these are the research gaps based on the literature survey, and almost I am going to cover all these research findings or the gaps in my research work. So based on this, the problem statement is mainly, again, intrusion detection is categorized into two categories, the behavior pattern and the authentication pattern. According to us, the behavior identification of the node is much better moved because of the following reasons. The first reason is behavior of the node is very tough to reproduce. No need to store the node identities. As the node identifier is unique, the procedure of deployment will happen to be inexpensive both in terms of time and cost. So based on the findings, our focus will be on the behavior-based intrusion detection, and we have used the concept of the cluster head, thereby identification of the malicious activity becomes very easier. So objective of my research work, the main goal of this research work is to propose, develop and implement an intelligent approach for intrusion detection that will function in MANET. In order to achieve this goal, following are the considerations that I have to consider. The first one is the proper understanding of AODP protocol and its operation in case of route maintenance and route discovery procedure. Issues regarding the packet dropping and probability scenarios. Proper working and understanding of the simulators SOMNet++ and MS2. Formal definition of the active routing attacks and threats from attacks. Study and analysis of intrusion detection system. Study and analysis of intrusion detection network also. Cluster formation and cluster head selection based on number of rounds. This one is very important, and I am going to explain this objective using the example. Defining the matrix for detecting the malicious node, detection of malicious node false alarm rate, and finally implementation of the intrusion detection module for selective active routing attacks. The first one, before going for finding out whether it is a malicious node or intended node, I would like to give the example with how we are going for formation of the cluster. So input is random, you can select any node as a random and fix that center point. Output will be different cluster till all local nodes are going to accommodate by the cluster. Select any node with one hop distance from participating node, then initialize the variable ni and the radius is equal to 1. This I have taken randomly. Then draw a particular circle by considering the position of the node ni as a center with a random small value of radius r, that r has already been given. Then find the coordinators x and y of the node ni, which I have already taken. Then go for forming the radius for new center as ri equal to the old value of r radius plus this two node ni minus nj, whereas node nj is the new one. Then calculate these coordinators values xi minus xj, yi minus yi, whereas ni is
drawing this circle. Center as node ni, then you should already know the x and y coordinates of node ni.
Sir, next time when we are going to form the another center, the circle, we require the values of x and y coordinator.
X and y coordinates of which, nj or ni? The second one.
Yes sir, which next?
X
No.
and y coordinates.
nj.
nj.
Next time nj we are going.
So that should be nj, isn't it?
Which one?
Node ni.
Here?
That line.
Here?
Find the x and y coordinates of node nj. That should
Should
be
be nj.
that should be nj.
No. Initially we have to find out the x and y coordinator of the initial node, that is ni. And later on, using the same coordinator, we have to find out the values of x and y coordinator for
What I
nj.
intended to ask is how you can draw a circle without knowing the coordinates of the center. So that line should come after this finding the xy coordinates.
Which line, sir?
Draw a circle by considering the position of node ni as center.
Yeah.
But still then you do not know the x and y coordinates of ni.
That should come
Yes.
first.
Yes.
And then you
Yes.
should draw a circle
Yes,
taking
that's fine,
that.
yes. That should come first. And the different cluster head algorithms are the lowest ID, the highest connectivity cluster algorithm, the K-hop connectivity algorithm. The approaches are given and the limitations are also given. Along with this, the mobility based matrix, the power awareness, connected dominant set, and finally the weighted cluster algorithm. The limitation, these are the limitation, and this one is the approach, how to go for the algorithm. Now the cluster head selection, how we are going for the cluster head selection. Basically we have considered two parameters. One is the distance parameter and another is the energy of the node. And we are going for the number of round. Tree structuring we have formed for finding out the cluster head. Initially the input is the node with the initial energy. Then the output will be the cluster head with the maximum residual, means remaining energy, and the distance should be less than 300. This 300 value I have given. Then finding out the initial energy, then the residual energy, and then compare that residual energy with the initial energy, and then find out the distance of the particular node. And finally, the node which has the maximum energy and is having the minimum distance from different hops or the nodes is going to consider as a cluster head. And the number of round is based on the tree structure. The node which has maximum energy and is minimum distance from the neighbor node is chosen as a cluster head. Each cluster is recognized as a tree structure and is also considered as a root of the cluster. So again, this is the simple example how we are how we are going to find out the cluster head. So node A and node B, the XA and Y are the coordinators for the node A, whereas the XB and YB are the coordinators for YB. Initially take 2D arrays, put the values of X and Y coordinator. So X reference is equal to one array, A mobile, I0, and the Y reference is again A mobile, I1. Then the X reference minus A mobile of J, 0 is equal to, has to equal to minimum distance. And the second condition, the Y reference minus A mobile for the another variable or another node B, again it should be minimum Y distance. Based on this formula or the concept, we have finding out the distance, and the formula is di equal to xa minus xb square plus y minus yb square. And the this simulation done in the.
Why are not going for 3D simulation environment? Why are you considering all of them to be the same thing? You should go for also drawn in 3D.
Yes. So the formation of cluster head using the tree concept. So here 14, root number 5, 21 and root number 0. These we have considered as a root, and these are the hosts which are connected to this root node. So in the figure shows us node number 0, 5, 21 and 40 are selected as a root node based on the maximum residual energy. So these are the result shows that node number 0 means the node which are connected or the very close to this node 0 is 6, 16, 17, 18 and 19. Then find out the x position and y position along with the neighbor x position and neighbor y position, and finally this one is the distance. So same methodology we have used for all the nodes. The second selection of node means root node in the second round. Here again, in the earlier case, they were the what we can say the root node. Now here, root number 5, 21, 0 and root number 14 are the root node, and all nodes are connected to this. In the selection of root node in the third round, again we have gone through the third round. So these are the root node, root number 5, 21, 0, 14, and finally in the fourth round, we are finding out the distance. So based on this, the table shows us that these are the nodes, and in the round 1 we have got this as the energy for in the round number 2, round number 3 and round number 4. Energy comparison of all the rounds. And then finally when we compare this methodology with the 3-1 lowest ID, then highest connectivity and the least algorithm, our algorithm, that is hybrid proposed algorithm based on the distance and the energy parameter, has given the good result when we compare the parameter speed. Next one that I am going to tell you is how we are going to form the threshold bounds. Every intrusion detection system which participate in the fusion or in the finding out the attack or the malicious node has two majorly the rate. One is the detection rate, and second another one is the false positive, and it is fully depend upon the network environment. The fusion center collected this local decision and form a binomial distribution S is given as S is equal to I is equal to 1 to N, SI, where N is the total number of intrusion detection systems that are participating in finding out the attacks. And there are two possibilities: either it is the finding out the attack, or there is no attack. So the two possibility tells us here, in case of attack, then go for this, and if there is no attack, then finding out this formula, or using this formula we can find out the threshold value. So this one is a simple diagram that tells us how we are going to find out the particular threshold value. The threshold value T should be chosen in between the false alert and the true alerts. Figure shows the classic case where T is chosen at the overlap point of two bands for normal and abnormal traffics, and it is given as summation I equal to 1, false positive is less than threshold value is less than or less than the detection rate. Then once we identify the particular threshold value, once we identify the particular cluster head based on the number of rounds, then we are going for the identify the malicious node. There are two concepts behind finding out or identify the malicious node. The one is the recognizing the suspicious node, and the another one is the authentication, that is confirming whether the recognized suspicious node in the step number 1 is really a malicious node or the intended node. Here the condition or the constraint is that the transmission of packet means the packet has been transmitted completely or the packet has not been transmitted at all, which is like a Boolean value, that is true or false, that is 1 and 0. The cluster head calculates the quality of data transmission value for all the nodes which are responsible for transmission in the radio range. If quality of the data transmission value falls below the threshold value, then that particular node is turned or is nothing but a malicious node in the network. The threshold value will be reorganized periodically in the network. This one is a formula, and based on the formula we are going to find out whether the particular node is a malicious node or not. And the terminologies: PT indicates the successful number of packet transmission, EST the energy spent to transmit, how much energy we require for transmission of that packet from one node to another, the probability of successful transmission of the packet, and finally the stability value. The quality of data transmission is calculated using PT multiplied by STV, that is stability value, upon the energy spent by the node in transmission of the packet into the probability formula, or the probability of the successful transmission. Whereas the stability value is defined as summation di to ui, whereas di is nothing but the successful transmitted bytes, it is denoted by di, and ui is nothing but the number of bytes which is supposed to transmit it. And next one is each node maintains the data table for keeping the elected cluster head ID and the trust value. The cluster head sends the cluster ID along with the trust value to all the nodes which are in the cluster. There are two concepts: requesting all members of the cluster, send a request to all the cluster member for placing the cluster ID along with the trust value. This is going to help in finding out the malicious node. On receiving the request, the cluster member sends the reply to the cluster head, and the cluster member is going to place this value at the top of the database in the data table. Another concept is, let us consider that cluster head want to release its position, maybe because of the non-supporting of the energy, or intentionally the cluster head want to release the position. Then what the thing we have, then exiting cluster head send a timestamp release message to all the cluster members which are in the radio range or which are in the cluster head. On receiving the release message, the cluster member removes this cluster ID and the trust value which has already been given by the cluster head to all the members from its table, from its data table. And in order to do this transaction, or in order to perform this experiment, we require 2n-1 messages. The assumptions, few assumptions we have used in this research work. The first assumption is bidirectional link is used between the participating node in the transmission. The MAC address of the participating nodes remain unchanged, it is not going to change. Duplicate MAC address are not present. Node can listen to transmission from immediate neighbors. Malicious node should not know that intrusion detection algorithm is in a running mode, otherwise the particular node is not going to behave maliciously. The value of threshold for sensing the intrusion node depends upon the type of network and the type of attack. The node may be homogeneous in nature or heterogeneous in nature. And finally, the cluster head is not a compromised node. Again, this one is the diagrammatical representation that is going to tell how the energy parameter is important. Means for sending any packet in the network, every time we require energy, and that is a major cost in the ad hoc wireless network or MANET. The failure tag is associated with all the node, and it consists of three parts: the node ID, the counter value, and the MAC address. It is also possible for malicious node to send modified or fabricated or overwritten packets to its neighbor. Such type of packet we have considered as a dirty packet. If any node is behaving abnormally and failure tag associated with that node exceeds the threshold value, then the cluster head will put that node in the suspected node list. Before declaring that node as a malicious node, the cluster head has to put that node in the suspected node list. The cluster head also check for the number of dirty packets sent by the node, and it is going to ask. This is the formula, basically the term which is going to help in finding out whether the particular node is a malicious node or not. The cluster head is going to ask the cluster head ID, the trust value, or the cluster head ID, trust value, and the exit timestamp of the previous cluster head. If the suspected node manages to respond properly, then it is removed from the suspected node list and the entire function is going to reset normally. Otherwise, the cluster head is going to check all the packets sent and received by the particular node. And the proposed system declare a particular node XI in the network as malicious if the failure tag for the counter value for a particular node is greater than the threshold value, and the dirty packet for the same node is greater or equal to the threshold value, and the information that has already been in the last PPT I have shown is not going to match, then the cluster head is going to declare that particular node as a malicious node. And maybe it may happen that entire network is going to be divided into so many clusters. So here the diagrammatical representation tells us 5 clusters are there: CH1, CH3, CH4 and CH2. All these are in the radio range of them, whereas C5 is not in the radio range of CH1. Let us consider CH1 has means has already done with the experiment and he got to know that the particular node X is a malicious node, then it may happen that node X is trying to remove from cluster head 1 and is trying to enter into cluster head 3 or trying to enter into cluster head 4 or trying to enter into cluster head 2, whereas it may try to enter into the cluster head 5. The restriction here, though this X is a malicious node, X malicious node can go in anywhere, in any network, in any cluster, whereas let us consider the cluster head want to give the MAC address or the information of particular node X to CH5. The cluster head CH1 cannot give because CH5 is not in the radio range of CH1, and that is a big issue again. That is what we can say the fortunate part to this node X, malicious node, but that is one is the unfortunate part to the cluster head 1. And this simulation result based on the Omnet++ tells us or shows us initially communicating with all the cluster head, and here the cluster head 2 is going to send a MAC address to all the cluster head which are in the radio range. This one is the MAC address. And this one is what we can say the new theme in the research work, and based on means I have already quoted in the research gap or in the finding, none of the author has done with this experiment. Then probability scenario may be if node X knows the radio range of the cluster head 1, then probability may be 1 for the cluster head 5 because the distance is too far, and another probability is 0 for cluster head 2, 3 and 4. The scenario tells us if node X does not know the radio range of CH2, then the probability is 0 for CH5. In earlier case it was 1, and the next one is 1 for CH2, CH3 and CH4 if node X consider distance parameter. Otherwise the probability is 0.5 and 0.5 for CH5 and for all other cluster heads. The metrics which I have chosen for detection of the intrusion detection are the false positive, false negative, percentage of the repeated message, the timestamp, packet delivery ratio, data sent, packet sending speed, acknowledgement, the wrong reply, end-to-end delay, number of packet drops by the node, repetition of the same packet. The false negative that takes place during the time interval t minus summation this theta t for t is determined using this formula. Here the node A and B, A is a malicious node whereas B are the neighboring node to the malicious node A, and this one is the condition, that is C A I comma T, where the condition is based on the condition 1 and 2 holds. If it is so, then it is true, otherwise it is false. What are the condition? The malicious node AI is performing an attack during the time interval T, and the system does not aware about the malicious node AI during the time interval T. This is the false negative. Same is for the false negative, false positive, whereas the condition tells us malicious node XI is not performing any attack, and the system notifies that particular attack has been taken place in the network. The proposed algorithm for the intrusion detection, we have defined the mistrustable information, and we have used the three count 1 has assigned the doubtful node attack DNA is the alphanumerical value, count 1 is nothing but a numerical value, total number of dirty packets sent by the node, count 2 again a numerical value, total number of packets received by the node, and finally total is the numerical value, total packets sent and received by the node, means that is count 1 and count 2, total is equal to count 1 plus count 2. Then there is a MAC table that correlates attack with the threshold value, the time interval, misbehavior, count. Initial threshold value we have to finalize or we have to give to the system, depend upon the type of attack and the type of the network. Then initial time frame we have to define using the array. Then the three-dimensional array for the nodes in the network are misbehavior count, node, the attack and the miss incident. If misbehavior taken place and says it has been noticed or notifies by the system, then the misbehavior analysis has to analyze why and how the attack has been taken place. Then store this in misbehavior information in the database along with the entire information. If the sender node has generated such misbehavior earlier, means based on this scheme we cannot declare the particular node as malicious node. Again we have to do so many experiments. If the sender node has already generated such misbehavior earlier in the case, then insert the row that is DNA. DNA stand for this one is doubtful node address. then increment the counter by 1, that is total equal to already have given count 1 plus count 2, then doubtful node address is equal to this given, and then it adds to the database that particular node has attack has occurred in the network and using or through that particular node. Then ask for this information, that is a cluster. Once we know that particular node is misbehaving or there is attack, then the cluster head is going to ask for this information, the cluster head ID, the exit timestamp and the previous cluster head information. And later on, if it is so, then counter is going to increment by 1. And finally, once we know that particular node is a malicious node, then it is the responsibility of the cluster head to give this information to all other cluster head which are in the radio range. How the cluster head is going to do? Using this concept, that is transfer DLA, target cluster head, ask for the doubtful node address, that is DLA, then count is going to assign as count 1, total and triple. These three information the particular cluster head has to give to all other cluster head which are in the radio range. So based on this intrusion detection, proposed intrusion detection algorithm, these are the simulation snapshot, and here we can find out the simulation snapshot shows us means there is a maximum flooding from the malicious node 20, again maximum flooding from the malicious node 7, and here detection of the malicious node, that is 7 and 20, detection malicious node 7 and 20, and transfer the root or the packets. Again, same thing we have done, or same simulation we have done. Node number 4 is also dropping the packet at large number. The algorithm again searches for the new route for packet transmission, and finally from the node or the path 4720 is declared as a malicious path and chooses the new path for further packet transmission. Here the intruder activity, node 4 dropping the packets are at the larger number, and alternate route path not from 4, 7 and 20. So analysis for the node number, this one is the analysis done using the MATLAB, and the throughput for sending at node number 4. So based on this analysis, we come to know that node number 4 has dropped the packet at a huge number, and hence the throughput of sending the packet is decreasing. This one is the throughput of dropping packet of this node number 4. And the entire network information here, node number packet dropping nodes are 4, 7 and 20, and node number 4 has dropped 40 number of packets. And this one is the throughput of sending the packet at node number 4 we have done. This one is another node, that is 7. Again we come to know that node number 7 has dropped the packet, or the throughput of sending the packet is very less as the simulation time goes on. Then throughput of sending the packet from the node number 7 again in a decreasing mode, and the cumulative sum of dropping packets at node number 7. This graph shows us the cumulative sum of drop packets, and the throughput of dropping the packet at node number 4 and 7. This one is the entire scenario or the picture that is going to tell us how many packets has been dropped by node number 4 and node number 7 in the entire simulation result. And in order to get the another alternative to how we can go for the optimum path, or how we can go for the best path, we have proposed the algorithm based on load and delay, LDAODB. In order to calculate the high throughput path among the existing path from source to destination, we consider these two parameters, that is load and delay. The proposed algorithm computes total delay of path and total load on path by averaging the value of all the nodes which are responsible for sending the packet and which are in the radio range. Weight of path is calculated by considering both parameter load and delay equally. Hence, the constant Pi and Pd are introduced, which can have any value in between 0 and 1, and the addition of these two parameters must be 1. And if load is the priority, or if it is having the more effective value for selection of the path, such type of network where network traffic is heavily loaded, it is better to consider load as a primary selection criteria. And hence PL is having the greater value as compared to PD, and or otherwise if the node is normally set up for both the values delay and the load, then decision can be taken as 0.5 and 0.5 value, and using this formula we can find out the best path or optimum path for sending the packet. Consider this example. This one is a sample ad hoc network. The source node is 4 and the destination node is 2. I want to send a packet from source node 4 to destination 2. I am going to find out how many paths I have or how many alternative paths I have. Load is given and the delay is 13 in node number 1, node number 2. Likewise, up to node number 7, the load is 60 whereas the delay is 40. And from the source to destination, we consider only 4 routes to reach to the destination. Let us consider 412, 432, 4132 and finally 4312. Out of these 4, which route or which path is going to give the best result? So these are the calculation part and the result 100, 117.5, here 163 and finally 155. Route 1 has minimum weight and hence it is selected by LD load delay AODV protocol. So these are the simulations that is done in the Java using the applet. So here we have constructed or created one mobile network where we have incorporated 25 nodes having the maximum transmission range as 100. Out of 25 nodes, we can consider any node as a source, any node as a destination. And here, let us consider the starting node is 5 whereas the end node is 21. That is, source is 5 and the destination is 21. Optimum path is given and total possible path in the network are 2560. Means for single simulation or for single path, we have got 2500 to 2560 path, alternative path, so that I can send my packet using that alternative paths. And the number of path, optimum path are 11. And 2560 routes we have got from source to destination, and the base route among all these 2516 is this one: 5, 8, 0, 16, 19, 7, 6, 10, 17, 4 and 21. The base route is calculated using the equation which I have already shown to you, that is equation number 1. Having weight associated with this route is 17414E6E7, which is the minimum weight among all the routes. And the simulation using the Java shown the result, and the total time is already given, that is 1 minute 34 seconds we required for doing this simulation, and the optimum is this one, optimum path is this one having the weight this one. And after comparing these two parameters, that is a load and delay, can we go for let us consider my let's consider I am giving more privilege to the delay than to load, then I am going to consider delay factor as 0 whereas the load factor is equal to 1. Otherwise, if I am giving privilege to delay, then it will be 1 and the load will be 0. Otherwise, it is a combination of 0.5 and 0.5. And again, the result that using this graphical representation shows us when we have balanced the load and delay, we are getting the good result. Means when we assign 0.5 to the load and 0.5 to the delay, we are getting the good result. The experimental result, the detection of malicious node with using the varying speed. From the graph, these are these setting parameters, and from the graph we can observe that there are false positive and all the nodes which are in the malicious are detected successfully. Due to the fast movement of the nodes in the network, connection with some of the nodes are lost, and because of that there is a more chances of false positive. The another experiment based on detection of the malicious node using the varying nodes. Here we can observe that there is no false positive. Means false positive and false negative file we can find out in the Omnet++, that is the send and receive file in the Omnet++, and based on that file we can find out whether it is a false positive or false negative. Even though we run the simulation for significant long duration in some cases, and hence our intrusion detection system shows the good determination or detection rate. And this one is to find out the mean delay. Again, different settings we have used, and the result shows that the performance of the movable device fall down when the speed of the movable devices is on the increasing mode. And the performance of the network delay with more simulation time and performance of the network delay for limited simulation time, again we have done with this experiment, and we can find out the performance of the network will be enhanced in long-term scenario as compared to the short-term scenario. The speed of the node is not same or constant. This is the reason we have examined the performance of the network delay by changing the speed of the movable nodes in the network. And based on this, these are the comparison for the 3 attacks, that is selective forwarding attack, the flooding attack and the black hole attack. And these are the settings we have used. The detection rate ratio For the simulation time 100, 200 and 300, the false positive and false negative for this selective forwarding, the same is for same category for the flooding attack, the same category for the black hole attack, and we come to know that our system, our intrusion detection has given maximum 91.1 and minimum 97.5 detection rate ratio, and this intrusion detection rate has never fall below 95. And the false positive in case of worst case situation it is 3.39%, and false negative in case of the worst case situation it is 1.28%, can be considered as very low. These are the experiment results. And again, the percentage of the attack detected, again as we increase the number of attacks, the graph is going to decrease. At the initial level, let us consider if we have the minimum what we can say the attacks, we can easily find out, and the percentage of the attack detected is more than 99%, but again it is not less than 95% also. So ultimately it is in the range of 96 to 99%. Then again the experiment we have done for the sequence number attack, and from the experiment we come to know that the proposed algorithm keeps the delivery ratio higher or more than the 80%, or it is equivalent to the 80%. As we increase the mobility of the node, thereby the node requests for fewer route more frequently, and the malicious node has a more chances to send the fake route reply packets to the node. This is the delivery ratio versus the number of connection and the node mobility in the routing packet attack. We observe that AODV perform much better in low mobility. As we raise the mobility ratio of the node, the delivery of the packets drops slightly, and the proposed algorithm manages to reduce the attack by around 80%. And this the tabular format gives in the normal AODV, using the normal AODV, we could send 87, 92, 91 and 90, and minimum 80% of the packet. And if the AODV is under the attack, it is majorly it is going to have a very what we can say unfortunate value. And using the proposed algorithm, we could raise this value, and we could send, or we could have maximum delivery ratio. The same is for this another algorithm. Another attack. And the number of false route reply versus the number of connection, we can observe that the false route reply packet sent by the malicious node reaches around 2500. It reaches around 2500. As the number of active connection increases, the number of false route reply also on the growing stage. Again here, this is the number of false route reply versus the node mobility. We can observe that the movement speed of the node increases, the number of false route reply also increases. There is a slight change. There is a slight change of node in between 12 ms to 16 ms. For this time duration, the false route reply falls from 3400 to 3300. This is due to the less number of malicious node during that time in the network. And again, in continuation, we can observe that at the end there is a major jump in the overhead generated by the malicious node. This is because all the earlier traffic has been stopped by the attacker or the malicious node, and suddenly that stack has been released by the malicious node, and that's why there is a increase of 11.6% in the overhead in the network. And the time taken to detect the malicious node, and based on this, these are the matrix parameters we have considered, and the values of matrix parameters. And finally, the comparison of normal case, attack case, and the intrusion our system. Based on this parameter, total packet sent, total packet received, routing packets, packet delivery ratio. Here, our intrusion detection has given 95.23% of the packet delivery ratio, average end-to-end delay, number of packets drop, and the number of data bytes drop. And finally, the conclusion: with the advancement of internet and its resources, security is at stake, and it has to be given more consideration. And the MANET or the Adobe Wireless Network is facing so many problems, then finding the solution to detect the attack is very difficult, because there is a dynamic topology, and attack is having there is no characteristic or the features of the attack that we can easily find out. The system which are available to detect the intrusion are capable only to find out the predefined attack. Whatever the system we have, it is going to find out only the predefined attack, but it depends when the particular means when there is a new attack occur in the system. In the research work, we focus on the introductory of the MANET and the different issues we have solved or we have introduced. The mathematical approach for selection of the cluster head based on the distance and the energy parameter is going to give the realistic result. The proposed algorithm for intrusion takes all the information before declaring that particular node as a malicious node. Selective forwarding, flooding attack, backhaul attack, packet dropping and the sequence number attack were the attacks on which we carried out the research and the test our intrusion detection, and all malicious nodes were successfully detected, and we could detect almost 95% malicious node. In the worst case condition, it is going to decrease. Along with this percentage, the percent of false positive and false negative have never gone less than 5% for almost all the cases, and it is reasonably very good. Along this is about the conclusion and the future outlines or the scope that can be incorporated or incorporated by the research community of ad hoc wireless network. The work can be extended to analyze and study the robustness of the wireless ad hoc network for all types of the protocol. Here basically we are focused only on AODV. More types of attack including the group attack can be studied and their relation to the vulnerability of the protocol can be ascertained. A complete system can be designed to implement intruder identification. In order to avoid the traffic fluctuation, randomness can be introduced in the route determination. A fast response mechanism can be developed for proactive protocols to reduce the packet drop due to the route change. Different mobility models can be used for testing the model. Building more attacks like wormhole, Sybil, sinkhole, and also based on this attack, the assessment can be done. The misbehaving node or the malicious node should be punished. This one is very important for a particular time of period or for the variation time. It depends entirely on the type of the attack or and the type of the network. If you remove and isolate the malicious node from the network, then there are the more chances of occurring of the false positive, and hence we have to punish to the malicious node. Directly we cannot remove the particular malicious node from the network, otherwise there could be a false positive or false positive could be increased. Energy management can be done and some mechanism by which we can restrict the movement of the malicious node in other part of the network can be restricted. These are the references. These are the publications.
Who are the publisher for the second journal?
Ad hoc wireless network. This no, it is not a school. That category you are asking.
Who is the publisher for this International Journal of Ad hoc Network?
This second one. Sir, it is simple agency. It is international journal. It is not a agency like a Springer or elsewhere.
You have to pay for publishing it?
Yeah, yes. IJART is a publishing agency.
All these are open access journals?
Yes, sir. And one is NSCSI, Computer Society.
You should better, try to publish in some other good publishers who are reputed and who don't charge you